Today I thought I would share some of my biggest pregnancy fears with you guys. I have obviously thought about being pregnant for a really long time, and now that we're trying to conceive, there's a lot of things that have come up for me, so I thought I'd just go through them one by one, and maybe this will be like some kind of self-help for me. Okay, so the first one is pretty obvious, and I think most women are pretty scared of this, and potentially some men as well if they have to be there to support their partners. I am petrified of birth. Like, not even just like, oh my god, it's gonna be so painful. I'm like petrified of the whole process of giving birth. Like, even just being there and like nurses coming and seeing my coochie and just like having to, like, my partner have to actually like stand there and watch what is happening to potentially his favorite place in the world, and you know, then obviously being ripped open by a whole head. This is super graphic. Oh my gosh. You guys know that labor is often described as one of the most painful things that you can ever go through as a woman. So of course this is really stressful for me, and I know that most women come out of it and they say it was worth it. Once you see your baby's face, it's gonna be amazing. But I feel like I'm just destined to have the worst labor ever. I think I've just heard so many horror stories that at this point I'm scarred. I'm already scarred before I even go into it. And I'm scared that I'm gonna let that fear get in the way of me being a little bit relaxed. Because they say you're supposed to be relaxed and not stressed during labor. Otherwise it is worse because your body all tenses up and it's not enjoyable. So number one is giving birth. Number two, I feel like, is another quite common one for women: miscarriage. It is so common, and although it's getting better, still a lot of women don't talk about their experience with miscarriage. 1 in 10 pregnancies end in miscarriage. So obviously if you get past that first trimester, that like reduces it down to 1% chance of miscarriage. But still, I am preparing myself that that's something that we might have to go through together. And I know if we get that positive pregnancy test, we are going to be so excited. And so then to have that taken away is, yeah, a huge fear of mine. And I've had people in my life who've gone through miscarriage and it's awful. You know, there's nothing you can say or do to make it better. It's just really, really sad. So yeah, number two is miscarriage. Number three is back pain, and this brings me on to the epidural. I am absolutely petrified of needles, like not to the point where I pass out, but I have to like psych myself up. Sometimes I have involuntary tears and just like cry when I'm getting needles. I've heard that the epidural one is super long. Again, lots of horror stories. And then it gives you back pain for potentially the rest of your life. I just imagine that the pain after having a baby and the pain during pregnancy of carrying the extra weight is gonna be awful. I'm kind of scared of that. Not as much as the first two, but it's there. Number four is losing my hair. As you can see, I have a lot of hair. It's super thick, not in the best condition right now, but it's there. And I heard when you have babies you can go through hair loss due to pregnancy and your body giving all of its nutrients to your baby, and I know that that comes back at some point, but if you want to have more than one kid, then you're gonna keep getting pregnant and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like without my hair I'm gonna be super different, but it's a really minor one. And I don't know if this is a fear as much as just like a, oh, I really hope that doesn't happen to me, but we'll see, it might not happen. Number five, I feel like, is an irrational fear. Number five is not waking up when my baby cries. Obviously this is when it's born, but I am scared that I'm gonna be so sleep deprived. I absolutely love sleep. I'm gonna be so sleep deprived that I'm not gonna wake up for my baby. It's gonna be crying and I'm just gonna be like fast asleep in dreamland doing my thing, you know? When we got Ziggy, our puppy, he woke us up so much in the night. I just like went upstairs and left Benny to it. I was like, okay, bye. It's so bad. Like, I don't even know I was doing it. It wasn't like a conscious decision. I would just wake up in the middle of the night when the dog's crying and just go upstairs into the different bedroom and just like have the best sleep of my life. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd be like, how did I even get here? So I'm hoping that this doesn't happen. I'm kind of scared that it will. but I'm sure that it is an irrational fear. And then when I hear my baby cry, instinct's gonna kick in, maternal instinct. I'm just gonna do my mum thing. Morning sickness. Ugh, my gosh, I can't think of anything worse. One of my friends is pregnant right now and is having the worst pregnancy. Like the whole first trimester, pretty much every day, so sick, nausea, just feeling like she wants to be sick all the time, headaches, everything wrong. And she feels like she doesn't even want to leave the house. She can't enjoy being pregnant. She's just really unwell the whole time. I am petrified of that because I don't deal with being sick well at all. I'm the biggest wimp in the world, and Benny will attest to this. I just sit on the couch and feel sorry for myself all day. First of all, I want to stay healthy and exercise and do all the right things so that my body's like ready for whatever is about to come. Second, I just want to enjoy it. You know, I want to enjoy those like mum feelings and like pregnancy feelings and all that kind of stuff. When I got my COVID jab, the day after, I was vomiting all day, like 5 or 6 times, and luckily Benny came home from work and looked after me. But it is the worst thing. I mean, I hadn't been really ill like that for years and years and years, so it just reminded me that I don't deal well with being sick at all. But I'm not being unrealistic here. So many women go through morning sickness and all that kind of stuff, so I need to prepare myself that that could be me. Ugh. Wait, I don't even know what number we're on. It could be number 8, I might be wrong. Eating or drinking the wrong things. And the reason for this is because everything I see, everything I read is like, do not eat this while pregnant, do not drink this while pregnant, do not use this shampoo while pregnant, do not use this blah 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 while pregnant. And it feels like you have so many restrictions in place, which is fine. I don't mind giving things up at all. I'm just scared that I'm gonna think like, oh, this is totally fine, and then eat or drink the wrong thing, and it really affects the pregnancy. Yeah, that would be awful. The next number, whatever it is, because I've lost track, is being stressed during pregnancy. I am someone who is prone to anxiety for sure. My job is super stressful. I every day come home and I just feel like I just want to sit down and have a glass of wine. I'm not going to be able to do that anymore, but just to be able to sit down and relax and do nothing, because my day is so stressful. And obviously I can't just stop working while I'm pregnant until, you know, later on in the pregnancy. So I'm concerned and fearful that my stress will carry on throughout my pregnancy, and stress is really, really not good when you're pregnant. I know this is a very real one for me. Some of the others I'm like, it might not happen to me, it might not occur at all, you know. This one I'm like, for sure this is gonna happen to me. It's something I need to deal with before we get pregnant, because otherwise I'm gonna be stuck in this cycle of stress. Next one is a little bit more intimate. I guess I am fearful that sex will never be the same. I mean, we are ripped open down there, and I know that there is information to say that 6 months after you're pregnant, usually everything goes back to normal. For like 70% of women, everything goes back to normal. What if I'm the 30% that it doesn't? Like, it's such a huge part of your relationship, and it definitely brings you closer and all that kind of stuff, especially after not having sex for so long, you know, at the end of the pregnancy, and then maybe a little bit after as well. I mean, when you're recovering and 6 months after, I don't know how I'm gonna cope, honestly. Okay, the last one might be a little bit more specific to me than some other people, but I live very rurally. To get to a hospital, you have to go by helicopter if you're in an emergency situation. Otherwise, you just go by boat. That scares the hell out of me, because I don't really want a home birth for my first baby. I think I want to just be in the like safe environment of a hospital. So I just don't want to get to a point where I have to be like flown out of here, because recently it was on the news that somebody gave birth in the helicopter. Holy heck, that is like awful. I just cannot imagine anything more stressful than being like thousands of feet up in the air, giving birth. The helicopter landing pad is like just across from our house, so I know I'd get to her okay, but oh my gosh, how crazy and scary would that be? It's very specific fear that I'm like, I really don't have to go through that. I want it to be chill. I want to be able to go in the car and on the boat, get to the hospital, chill, do my thing, you know. I don't want to be flying up in the air and just popping one out. Last one is crushing my baby when I roll over. So this is very real. I sleep on my side anyway, but I find myself waking up in the night on my front. I'm just scared that I'm just gonna roll over and like squish it and then something really bad happens. I sleep in a very specific position. So I don't know how I'm gonna cope with having to be like fully on my side and not having my arm underneath me and roll into my front, and I'm one of these like people that's really annoying and I can't sleep in a new environment without my pillow kind of people. So I know that if I'm not in my right position, I'm not gonna have a really good sleep. So hopefully I can adjust quite quickly and just remember what all this is for. I think if I didn't have fears, it would be great, but all these things are things that I need to think about now before we get pregnant, so that when I am pregnant and if any of these things happen, then I'm able to deal with it better than not having fears and not even thinking about it, and then something scary happens and I'm like, what's happening? I just thought I would share these with you guys. Maybe some of you have already thought of these things, maybe you haven't. Maybe you have no care in the world about pregnancy or babies, and maybe you don't even want to have children, that's fine. But I just wanted to share this, and I want to look back on this one day and say, none of these things happened to me. It was nothing to be fearful of. Of course, that's unrealistic, but maybe I'll look back and say, yeah, that was a genuine fear. It happened, but I dealt with it. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!